get that many laps of the very rapid-looking number 50 car behind him. And there's a little bit of debris on the road there as well, actually. Left-hand side of the circuit, very small amount of debris, as Alan Day is looking to try and get a quick lap in, and he has. He's gone right to the top of the times. You can see a 1 minute 11.951. I said we'd be into the 1 minute 11s for qualifying, and instantly the first true clear flying lap, Alan Day has popped that car to the top of the times. Gianmarco Ercoli is second quickest at this stage at the wheel of the number 9 car, and third quickest is Loris Huysmans. There goes number 32. That's Romain Iniesta. Nice to see Romain back in the championship, the Frenchman. And let's have a look. There is Denis Longines. So he is currently 6th quickest at this stage. Alan Day, now he's popped the quick time in. He's eased things off by the look of things. Now, will Alan Day go to the pits to save his tyres? I say all cars get 4 tyres for the weekend. They are brand new sticker tyres for these Elite 1 drivers in qualifying, and if they look after them, it makes sure that the Elite 2 driver has a very good set of tyres for the second part, and of course that is Ariana Casoli, who will take over that car for the Elite 2 qualifying, and Alan Day will also save those tyres for Superpole as well, which will be coming up. So all you need to do is get yourself inside the top 12. That's what Alan Day has done. Francisco Cini just goes 3rd quickest at the wheel of the number 12 car, so local driver Mark Goosens takes that away from him with a 1 minute 12.821. So it's Alan Day from Gianmarco Ercoli. There is the number 9 car in the hands of Gianmarco. So a driver who was 6th quickest on combined times yesterday, won the Elite 2 Championship back in 2015, did Gianmarco. And, well, with a fairly solid weekend for him in Valencia, 10th and a 7th position for the driver that finished 7th in the championship last year. Let's see what the Racers Motorsport Ford Mustang can do. He's moved himself up to 2nd position. Of course, that's not the front row of the grid. That will be decided by the Superpole 5-minute shootout that will be coming up very shortly. And there's only 3 3/4 minutes of this qualifying session to go at this stage. Well, Gianmarco Ercoli looking nice and tidy as he exits turn number 3 and heads up towards turn number 4. In fact, that's turn number 9 and 10 he's just come through, actually. Traffic staying neat and tidily out of the way. That's Freddie Gabion, who is looking as though he is saving his tyres for Superpole. And Gianmarco, is he pushing on this lap? So, turning his way through turn number 11, then up towards turn number 12. Anthony Kumpen, in the meantime, has briefly gone 2nd quickest, but I fear the time might be disallowed for track limits, is the news that we're hearing. And for Gianmarco, can he improve? The answer is no, still slightly slower, but 3rd place is enough to see him through to Superpole at the moment. The driver that's on the bubble and might not quite make it is Martin Dubek, 7th quickest for the Czech driver, a 1 minute 13.450. Well, if Alex Chompy can just find a few thousandths of a second. In fact, Dubek has now dropped outside as there's improvements around him. It looks as though a great lap having been put in. Romain Iniesta improves, Loris Huysmans improves, Tomo Ferrando gets himself up to 10th quickest, the number 37 car. So all of a sudden, Martin Dubek, who was on the bubble, is not in the top 12. He's down to 16th position as others around him improve. Number 31 car in the hands of Mauro Trione is sitting a little further down through the order. He's 25th quickest, the Swiss driver currently. Locking the brakes, the unloaded wheel as he turns his way through turn number 10, gets sideways on the way out of the corner. The light blue car with the orange stripe right the way down the centre of it. And for Mauro, what could he do here? There is Bobby Labonte. Don't forget that the votes for the NASCAR Hall of Fame end on the 21st of May, and Bobby Labonte is one of those drivers at the wheel of the number 18 car that is going to have the possibility of joining the Hall of Fame. So whilst we're impartial, he's the only driver that is competing that potentially might join the NASCAR Hall of Fame in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. So you decide where your votes go, but it'd be great to see Bobby Labonte join that illustrious list of names in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And the number 18 car in the hands of the 2000 Monster Energy NASCAR champion is currently sitting down in 24th place at this stage. Bobby Labonte, the American, of course, won the 1999 Busch Series, stepped up to the Monster Energy Series and won that. And let's have a look and see what he might be able to do on this lap. Looks as though it's been a neat and tidy lap from Bobby Labonte, and we've just lost the tail end of that lap for him by the look of things from the cameras. For Bobby Labonte, we'll see as to whether we are going to see an improvement. Here he comes round through turn number 12 now, and the time for Bobby Labonte does see him move up, but he only moves up from 25th to 22nd quickest. So 1 minute to go in this session. Bobby Labonte is not looking as though he's going to see himself through to Superpole. Alan Day comfortably through. 1 minute 11.958. There goes the number 29 car through, and that is the car of Julian Shale, driver that will be racing both Elite 1 and Elite 2 over the course of this weekend. Freddie Gabillon still staying out there by the look of things. The number 3 Toyota Camry, Freddie Gabillon, I thought he'd headed to the pit lane to save the tyres. And well, the reason that he's out there still at the moment is he's dropped to 14th position, so he's got work to do. As Fred Gabillon can't really afford to mess this final lap up as well, because there's only a matter of 15 seconds to go before the checkered flag is out. So Fred Gabillon on his final qualifying lap and needs to surely muster some sort of improvement, otherwise it won't even see him through to Superpole. There goes number 37, that's Thomas Ferrando, and well, Thomas is currently 5th quickest. Let's not forget that if Alan Day secures pole position, as the checkered flag goes out, he would match the number of pole positions set at 8 as the record by Ander Villarino. Thomas Ferrando up towards the new section of the circuit, so the fast kink at number 5, turn 5, that brings him up towards turn 6. You can see the change of the colour of the tarmac. Back onto the old section of the circuit yet again. The drivers loving this new section at 5 and 6, but it's also quite technically difficult because you have to keep the car rotating, turning into the corner and get on the brakes at the same time. But it looks a tidy lap despite a bit of traffic for Thomas Ferrando. There's more traffic just up the road that could come into play round through turn number 10, and I think it probably has compromised the lap as he catches Roman Iniesta on the exit of the corner. Number 32 car out of the way. And let's see what Thomas Ferrando can do. He doesn't need to improve. He's 5th quickest. He's through to Superpole already. And he is going to squeeze his way through and past now Luca Lassar, who, of course, provided that fantastic onboard lap for us. And Thomas Ferrando safely through to Superpole. So I don't think it's going to be an improvement upon his 1 minute 12.674. And indeed, no, it wasn't on the final lap. There is no improvement for Thomas Ferrando. So as the checkered flag comes out, then the driver's through to the Superpole session that will be coming up immediately. It will be number 54 Alan Day, quickest of all, with a 1 minute 11.951. Second quickest is a double former champion, number 24 Anthony Kumpen, with a 1 minute 12.352. Luca Lassar, number 33, is 3rd quickest at the wheel of the Mishu Motors Chevrolet SS, a 1 minute 12.565, and Romain Iniesta is 4th quickest with a time of a 1 minute 12.635. Thomas Ferrando at the wheel of the number 37 car was 5th quickest at 1 minute 12.674, and Gianmarco Ercoli is the first of those in the junior category. He qualified 6th, and therefore he's through to Superpole with a 1 minute 12.698. 7th quickest is number 41, that's the Club Motorsport Ford Mustang of Fabrizio Amata, who is back in the championship for this weekend with a 1 minute 12.712. 8th quickest is Fred Gabillon in the end, so he did manage to haul himself up through from what was 14th position with a lap to go. So he is into 8th place with a 1 minute 12.772. Wilfried Busena, 9th quickest, number 73. We saw Wilfried claim 2 Elite 2 wins at Valencia. He's doing both Elite 1 and Elite 2 this weekend. A 1 minute 12.817. Mark Hussens is through at the wheel of the number 91 Brax Racing machine with a time of 1 minute 12.821. Francisco Cini at his local circuit, of course, local team car number 12 through, 11th quickest with a 1 minute 12.850, and the last through to Superpole is number 50, Loris Heismans, who is new to the championship for this year with a 1 minute 12.935. Stenish Longines, though, is out of Superpole. He had a really strong run here in 2017. I had a quick chat to him yesterday, Stenish Longines, and he did say Sector 2 has been a problem for him. He didn't know where the problem was with the car. He was disappointed with the pace that they'd got. They were going to have a look into it, have a look into the data, have a look at the car and see if they could find the pace. But all of that work that I'm sure has been done by Stenish Longines and the PK Car Sport team overnight, from free practice yesterday to qualifying today, just hasn't worked, unfortunately. So he is out of Superpole. Only just. He was 13th quickest. So 13 drivers within 1 second of each other, 21 drivers within 2 seconds of each other around the 1.556 mile or 2.504 kilometre circuit here at Autodromo Franciacorta. And with the top 12 now going through for a further 5 minutes of Superpole, we will see as to whether Alan Day might be able to match and tie with the all-time record of pole positions in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. As we say, he is on 7 pole positions currently. The record is held by Ander Villarino, who was a double champion at the Spanish driver on 8 pole positions, and Ander Villarino claiming the championships back in 2012, and well, the first ever season of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series as its badge now. 2013 he was the champion, and 2015, so a treble NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion. Alan Day first out of the pit in Superpole. It looks as though Mark Goossens is going to be second out of the pit on Superpole. You can just see Alan Day's yellow car at the front of the queue, whereas for Mark Goossens, different livery than that we saw in Valencia. There were several cars that had liveries that were deemed by the officials to be just too similar and made it very difficult to pick them out. Well, rather helpfully from a commentary perspective, they've changed them all. So Mark Goossens now has the similar blue, metallic blue Brax Racing livery on his Chevrolet SS, but it's got those day-glow yellow flashes to it now, so it marks it out from the rest of the Brax cars, which are all the same colour blue, but in the case of Jerry de Verts, it's blue with some white to it, and in the case of Pedro Bonet, that we'll see out in the Elite 2 qualifying, well, it's got red flashes to it. So we go green. The cars are heading back out onto circuit. Remember, this is just 5 minutes now. You've got the out lap to take off that as well. So they're going to get 3 flying laps in. It was Anthony Kumpen, actually, that managed to get out second out of the pit lane. So, as they were, I suppose, for the start of the main qualifying session, Alan Day and Anthony Kumpen, but with now only 12 cars on the grid, you've got a lot more free tarmac and a lot more space to ensure you get the perfect lap. And, of course, the tyres and the cars are already warm, and the drivers are familiar in today's temperature as to how much grip there is on the track, so they should be onto a good lap straight away. As we saw, a 1 minute 11.9 was sufficient for Alan Day to top the times for qualifying. Well, what's going to top the times for Superpole? Are we going to be down into the mid 1 minute 11s? I think we might shave another couple of tenths off it, and 1 minute 11.7 might be thereabouts, is my view, what a pole time will be. Alan Day still weaving from side to side to try and build the temperature in these controlled BF Goodrich tyres, of course, that all of the cars have for this year. New for 2018 is BF Goodrich, and Alan Day and Anthony Kumpen are straight onto the flying lap, so nice and neat and tidy. You can see them using all of the curbs on the way out of turn number 12, and fantastic shot that brings them up towards the braking area for turn 1. In towards the right-hander, they throw the car in. There goes the PK Car Sport Chevrolet of Anthony Kumpen. You can see just how much these cars are moving around with the adhesion to the tyres and the bumps on the circuit. You can see them bouncing up and down as they feed the cars in towards the corner. Nice and neat and tidy. The car slides wide coming out of the corner there from Alan Day. And out to the new fast section of the circuit, the fast kink at 5. They use all of the curbs through 5 and through 6. You can see the car bouncing off the curbs as he then heads onto the brakes, puts the car into turn number 7, and then a very short kink up towards turn number 8 before they're in towards the turn at turn number 9, the right-hander, and then the short straight that brings them up towards the ever tighter turn number 10. Then you get the long straight where they can really start to build the power again, build the speed. These 400 brake horsepower, 1,200 kilogram cars, that's the equivalent of about 2,600 pounds, up towards the braking area for the tight turn number 11, where I think we're going to see lots of action in the race. Onto the brakes. Let's see what the first lap is going to be for Alan Day. He saved the tyres, came into the pit lane nice and early, and has not taken as much life out of his BF Goodrich tyres as others around him have done. He heads over the start-finish line, and it's a 1 minute 11.820 for Alan Day. Anthony Kumpen is 3/4 of a second behind on his first flying lap with a 1 minute 12.571. Gianmarco Ercoli moves up to third quickest, but is instantly battered by Luca Lassart, who we rode on board with on the onboard lap. So it is the reigning champion. Fred Gabillon goes second quickest, a great lap from the Frenchman, twice a runner-up in this championship, but Alan Day is still on a quick lap. He's the only man so far in either session to have got into the 1 minute 11 second bracket. Of course, it was a 1 minute 11.9 in qualifying. A 1 minute 11.8 he's managed to get down to on his first lap in this Superpole session. But is he going to be satisfied? Is he going to stop pushing? Is he going to save a little bit of life in those tyres for Ariana Casoli, who will be heading out to qualify that very same car in Elite 2 in a few moments' time? So up towards the braking area for turn number 11. I think Alan Day will get another banker lap in, I would have thought, and then from there he will get the call from the team and they'll let him know what else is going on around the circuit, and he'll perhaps then decide as to what he's going to do. There's only, however, a minute and 11 seconds to go as he comes over the start-finish line. So that, what a lap, a 1 minute 11.452. I did think we might be improving, but that is a half a second improvement from the fastest time he set in qualifying to see him at Superpole. Slowest of the cars out there currently of these 12 that have made it through is Fabrizio Amata. Here comes Tomo Ferrando. He's looking as though he's on a really quick lap at this stage. There goes Mark Goossens through, and that number 41 car is going to be Fabrizio Amata, the slowest of them. But for Fred Gabion, he is just trying to find a little bit of space out there somewhere. There's a couple of cars that have had their fastest laps disallowed. The number 9 car, Gianmarco Ercoli, and the number 33 car of Luca Lassar, both of whom have had their fastest times disallowed so far. And here comes Fred Gabion now. Well, sensible driving by Fred. He was on pole position here last year, and let's see what he might be able to do here, because he's nice and neat and tidy. He's eased things off, he's let everybody go through, and we'll wait and see as to whether he's going to hook the lap up. So he works his way through turn number 3, then up towards turn number 4. 5 seconds to go before the checkered flag comes out. Fred Gabion neat and tidy now towards a new section of the circuit, so through the very fast 5 on towards 6, you can see him again using all of those curves, the car bouncing around. It's very difficult to feed the power in at 7 as the cars start to slide wide. The checkered flag is now out, so any car that's out there is now on its final qualifying lap. And Loris Huysmans goes second quickest with a 1 minute 12.103, disposing Fred Gabion down to the second row of the grid at this stage, and that's the number 50 car there, Loris Huysmans, who has gone beautifully well, takes the checkered flag now, but Fred Gabion is on a quick lap. Tomo Ferrando has just taken the checkered flag. Mark Goossens goes third quickest on his final flying lap, but Loris Huysmans has done a great job. He had all the pace at Valencia, but couldn't really show it at the wheel of that number 50 car. And for a man who is new to the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, he has done wonderfully well so far. But is it going to be enough? Because Fred Gabion was still on a quick flying lap, and as Fred comes over the start-finish line, which he has already done, he goes fourth quickest. So for Superpole, it looks as though it is Alan Day, car number 54, who will start from pole position. Of course, that means that he has now matched the all-time record of pole positions and is on 8 with Ander Villarino. Second quickest is number 50, which is the car in the hands of Loris Huysmans. That's the Hendricks Motorsport Ford Mustang. And Goossens goes third at this stage, and he went together with Loris Huysmans at Valencia. The two of them got together, which means that come the first race later on today, they're going to be in a very similar position of the grid once more. We saw them get together at Valencia. Let's hope that they're going to remain clean this time through. So Day was quickest, Huysmans second. Mark Goossens for Brax Racing is third, number 91. Fred Gabion, the number 3 Toyota Camry for for RDV Competition, goes fourth quickest with a 1 minute 12.347. Anthony Kumpen for number 24 PK Carsport Chevrolet is fifth quickest with a 1 minute 12.515. Sixth quickest is a double former champion, number 33 Luca Lassar with his Chevrolet SS for Mishu Motors with a 1 minute 12.6. Seventh quickest is 73, which is Wilfried Busenna. So he'll be really pleased with that, Wilfried Busenna, straight off the back of 2 wins in Elite 2 in Valencia. And well, getting himself through to Superpole and seventh quickest is a good performance with a 1 minute 12.740. Eighth quickest is car number 9, which is Gianmarco Ercoli. So he will be, I think, the fastest of the junior trophy competitors. He qualified with a time of a 1 minute 12.827. Ninth quickest was number 32 Roman Iniesta with a 1 minute 12.910. 10th quickest was number 12 Francisco Cini. First Superpole for Francisco Cini. So at the team's local circuit, Francisco Cini has had the pace yesterday, and he's brought the pace through into qualifying and Superpole today. He'll be as pleased as punch with that, as will, of course, the whole of the team as well, the Solaris Motorsport team, with a 1 minute 12.969. 11th quickest for number 37, which is the Knauf Racing Ford Mustang of Tomo Ferrando. Of course, he is the reigning Elite 2 champion. And 12th is number 41, which is Fabrizio Amata with a time of a 1 minute 13.392. And Amata is the first challenger on the grid. Strong return as well for the driver owner as well. So he will be very, very pleased indeed. So already you can see that into the pits have come the Elite 1 cars. They've been handed over to the Elite 2 drivers already. And then we cycle through that very same process. The same set of 4 tyres remain on the cars. The drivers, in the case of most of them, not all of them, will change, because there are some drivers that are doing both Elite 1 and Elite 2 this weekend. And there will also be some cars that we have not seen out as yet, and others that we've just seen out that won't come back out, the likes of Francisco Cini. There's no driver racing that number 12 Solaris Motorsport car in Elite 2. We saw Bobby Labonte out, and of course don't forget that the votes close for the NASCAR Hall of Fame on the 21st of May, so get your votes in if you want to vote for, well, any of the drivers, but say Bobby is the sole representative in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series that might be joining the Hall of Fame, and you've only got a couple of days to do it, so we won't see Bobby out because there's no driver that shares that car with him. But we will see a couple of cars out that we didn't see in Elite 1. For instance, the number 58 MRT Nocentini car that has got the British rookie on board, Alex Sedgwick. Alex raced in Elite 1 in Valencia. He's gone through to race in Elite 2 now for this weekend, and I think for the rest of the season. And, well, from one car to another, last weekend, Alex Sedgwick was racing in the UK in a 24-hour race at Rockingham. Not on the oval we have at Rockingham, but on the infield section of it, in a Citroen C1, okay? All of 68 brake horsepower, front-wheel drive. I had a chat to Alex yesterday, and he said he got into the NASCAR yesterday in free practice, came out of the pit lane, floored the throttle, because he'd forgotten how to drive after last weekend. The back wheel spun up, and he had a very scary moment as he tried to get it back under his spell. So from 68 brake horsepower last weekend to 400 brake horsepower this weekend in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We didn't see that car out in Elite 1, but we will see it in Elite 2. And also the number 90 Brax Racing car of Pedro Bonet. We didn't see that out in Elite 2, in Elite 1. We will see it out in Elite 2. Now, unlike the Elite 1 cars, there's no specific order that these cars need to line up in the pit lane. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to do with free practice times from yesterday that are carryover as to how they will join the circuit today. Now, in the first free practice session yesterday, it was the number 46 Racing Total car of Justin Kuntz that was quickest. Justin's one of those drivers, a couple in the field, that does both Elite 1 and Elite 2 this weekend. Now, in the first free practice of the day, he was quickest. A 1 minute 13.714 was just a tenth of a second quicker than the number 2 Alex Caffey Motorsport car, and that's the Toyota Camry of Denny Zardo. And Denny Zardo, a former Italian GT champion, he is a European hill climb champion. He's a multiple Italian hill climb champion. He was second quickest yesterday, so he'll have been really pleased with that one. Again, track position is going to be very important for this one. This is the most unpredictable division as well. Wilfried Busenna took a double win at the wheel of his Knauf Racing number 37 Ford Mustang at Valencia. Let's see what he might be able to do here. We've got many title contenders, and a few of them that have to sort of rebound after a poor Valencia as well. The likes of Guillaume Dumoulin, who is hoping for way better things than he encountered at Valencia. Guillaume Dumoulin was a driver that really would be very disappointed with the way things went for him in Valencia. Whilst he was fourth in the first race, he was 25th in the second race, so it was sort of a mixed weekend really for him. He needs a solid weekend under his belt. Felipe Ravello did not have a great weekend either, the Brazilian driver, and well, he finished 24th in the first race but was 8th in the second race. But for a driver that we would expect to be right up there, Felipe Ravello, he will be hoping for better things at the wheel of the number 11 PK Car Sport car. Of course, he was third in the championship back last year. And other drivers that had a mixed weekend. Ulysse Delso had a pretty mixed weekend at Valencia, the Frenchman. He finished second in the first race, but a poor finish saw him 27th in the second race. And the other driver that will also be hoping to bounce back is Matej Dreza, the Polish driver. Well, he finished 8th in the first race at Valencia and was 26th in the second. The one good thing for these guys is that they can drop their worst one race prior to the semi-finals in reality, because we have double points for the semi-finals in the finals. So you can drop your worst score. So you can make a mistake, but when you've already had the likes of all of those drivers I've just mentioned a bad weekend at Valencia, they can't afford another bad weekend here at Autodromo Franciacorta. So they need to just be consistent, and that's the key to winning championships. As we saw from Alan Day last year and from Tomo Ferrando, consistency is the key. And well, we will see those cars heading out onto the circuit very, very, very shortly indeed for the start of this 10-minute qualifying session. There's a couple of rookies that we need to watch out for in there as well. The likes of the number 8 car in the hands of Nicola Risitano, who's a rookie in the championship this year, came out of karting. We saw him as a FIA CIK European Junior Karting Champion, the Italian. He'll be hoping for good things. His local race, of course, his home race, so he'll really be hoping that he can go very well, as the green flag will very shortly be waved. And also at the wheel of the number 32 Go Fast Racing Ford Mustang, the Frenchman Florian Venturi, of course, raced last year in the French Formula 4 Championship. He finished third in that championship, and we'll see as to whether they're going to be strong here, because both of them had really good weekends at Valencia. For the likes of Nicola Risitano, well, he finished 6th in the first race, but was on the podium in the second race. He finished 2nd overall. He was the runner-up. And for Florian Venturi, consistent weekend. And as I say, consistency is the key in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. He had 2 third places at Valencia. So we'll wait and see as to whether those 2 rookies, who are lying 2nd and 3rd in the championship, can maintain that consistency. So the queue at the end of the pit lane is almost there. Congratulations to Alan Day, who's just briefly popped his head in the commentary box. He has now, as we say, has matched the all-time pole position record in Elite 1 and is now sitting on 8 with Ander Villarino. Had a big old smile on his face as he just popped in there. He's had the pace all weekend, but there aren't that many, well, there are no championship points for qualifying. It's the racing that gives you the championship points. So part 1 of his job is done. The best part of his job will come later on, come the race. So we get qualifying underway for the Elite 2 competitors. This, as with Elite 1, is a 10-minute qualifying session, and then the top 12 once more will head through to the Superpole, which will take place in a few moments' time over, again, just 5 minutes. So exactly the same format as we've just seen for Part 1 and for the Elite 1 drivers. And there is the number 3 car of Ulysses Delso, and it's a car that was driven very well by Fred Gabion. You can see just how busy it is in the pit lane. I think some cars are looking to try and head out straight away. Others maybe just waiting for a little bit of clear track. But Ulysses Delso straight out and on with it, because, as we say, he's one of those drivers that had mixed fortunes, really, at Valencia. There's the number 37 car, which is now in the hands of Wilfried Busenna. That'll be one to watch out for. Wilfried, a double winner at Valencia, and we'll be hoping that he can keep that momentum going. Wilfried, who is a former champion, of course. He was the Elite 2 champion way back in 2009, and really was sort of back on it, really, at Valencia. Had a solid weekend and showed the pace that he had all throughout the course of free practice and qualifying and the racing as well. And let's see what he can do in this one. Maybe there's a problem with the number 54 car, because we haven't as yet seen Ariano Casoli head out onto circuit. That is one of the cars that's still stopped in the pit lane currently, being worked on by the Cal Racing team, and the driver sort of waving at them, we saw briefly on the pictures. But for Wilfried Busenna, he's looking to try and get on with it straight away here. So round through turn 11, the circuit drops away down through the left-hander at turn number 12. Easy to run wide midway through the corner as the car sort of pushes out. But, of course, all of these cars have had the tyres warmed in reality by the Elite 1 drivers. And Wilfried Busenna is now onto the flying lap. So turns the Knauf Racing car in towards the right-hander at turn number 1, up towards turn number 2, and then a very short straight that brings him up towards turn number 3. And then from here, it's the left-hander at turn 4, the first left-hander that we have on the track, and then the speed starts to build up towards this new section of the circuit. Watch for the change at the tarmac. That's through turn number 5. Turn number 6, use all of the curves. The car bouncing over the curves yet again. And with Elite 2 being fairly unpredictable, the action, is it still going to be Wilfried Busenna at the top of the times? For the moment, the first flying lap that's come in has come in from Denny Zardo, actually. A 1 minute 13.908. Denny had the pace yesterday in free practice. He was second quickest in free practice 1. He was third quickest in free practice 2. So he's up there on merit with the pace that he's had so far this weekend. But Wilfried Busenna is coming up towards the end of the lap. He's got one of the Cal Racing cars just ahead of him. And as he turns his way safely through turn number 11, down towards turn number 12, he hasn't been compromised by any traffic. And what is the time going to look like for him as he heads over the start-finish line? It looks as though it is only good enough for 10th position at this stage, with 1 minute 14.217, so more to be found out there currently. Guillaume Dumoulin, in the meantime, has gone to the top of the times at the wheel of the number 24 PK Car Sport Chevrolet SS. He's looked towards other cars, just heading around the circuit. And there is Denis Ardo, who is looking for clear track. He's dropped down to 5th quickest as others around him have improved. And there is the car that is quickest overall. So number 24, Guillaume Dumoulin, looking for a solid weekend after, say, disappointment really at Valencia. Another driver that can't afford to have anything other than a consistent weekend. 4th in the first race, 25th in the second race at Valencia, and at the wheel of that beautifully liveried PK Car Sport number 24 Chevrolet. Here he comes up towards the braking area for turn number 11. Guillaume de Flandre in the meantime has gone up to the top of the times with a 1 minute 13.505. Can Guillaume Dumoulin get himself back towards the top of the times? He heads over the start finish line, breaks the beam, and does. He goes back to the top of the times with a 1 minute 13.080 and is now joined by the number 44 car of Gilles Linster, who is second quickest with a 1 minute 13.448. Julian Shale just goes third quickest with a 1:13.449, and Guillaume de Flandre, who was there a few moments ago, is bumped down to 4th at the wheel of the number 77 Memphis Racing Chevrolet. Number 24 Guillaume Dumoulin still looking as though he is pressing on this lap, again using all of the curves, but now he's back down to the lap, gets it back down to the lap, just ahead of the number 8 machine in the hands of Nicola Risitano. And Risitano is down in 10th place currently. He was able to squeeze his way through. There goes number 44, which is Gilles Linster. He's right up there as well. He's second quickest now and is chasing the number 8 car around the circuit. So Nicola Risitano, third in the championship standings at this stage, albeit very early stage. Gilles Linster is looking as though he is on a quick lap as well. The driver from Luxembourg, 9th and a 7th in the 2 races that we had at Circuit Ricardo Tormo down there in Valencia a few weekends ago. As they head over the start-finish line, do we see improvement for them? We do, up to 6th for Risitano. Gilles Linster says second quickest. So here comes up towards the start of a flying lap by the look of things. You can see just looking for space there is Julian Shale, the French driver, who is now going to try and press on. He's got plenty of clear tarmac ahead of him to see whether he can accelerate into it. Shell very excited about the experience that he's enjoying in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and there goes the number 29 car through the right-hander at turn number 1 and turn number 2, the Pegasus Racing Chevrolet in the hands of the Frenchman, looking to try and push on. We saw him out qualifying in Elite 1. He's also qualifying in Elite 2, one of the drivers that's got a busy weekend ahead of him. 2 races to come for him later on today, a further 2 to come tomorrow as well. Looks neat and tidy so far. He needs to try and see whether he can find a little bit of improvement. I don't think he needs to worry too much. It's 3.5 minutes of the session still to go. He is third quickest currently and is just 0.3 of a second off the fastest time that we've seen. He's going to want to see whether he can find a bit more pace somewhere. He's going to meet a little bit of traffic towards the end of the lap, which could compromise it. I think it's going to thankfully move out of the way, but the red flags are coming out by the look of things, so that has compromised everybody's lap. So for Julian Shale, we will never know as to whether that was improvement, and with 3 minutes to go, out come the red flags, and all of the Elite 2 competitors making their way back around the circuit, where they will have to then head back into the pit lane, and we will hopefully, whatever the incident is that's out there on circuit, we've not seen anything from the pictures, but whatever it is, hopefully it will be able to be cleared reasonably quickly. It may well just be a car that's broken down somewhere around the circuit with some sort of mechanical woe. So we'll wait and see. The local Italian marshals and officials will deal with it. It could be some oil or some lubricants been put down somewhere out there on the circuit, but whatever it is, it needs dealing with. So red flags around the circuit, and even from the cameras there's nothing obvious as to what's brought about this halt. The red flags came out with just over 3 minutes to go, so 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go at the point that the red flags came out. We need to see whether we can get Arianna Casoli out on circuit. Has she come out and done a lap as yet? I don't think she has. She hasn't done a single lap as yet, so there's clearly a problem with the number 54 car. There didn't appear to be a problem with it when it was in the hands of Alan Day, who of course qualified it on pole for Elite 1, but something was clearly amiss with that car. Oh right, and there is the problem. Into the gravel trap has gone, and that car looks as though it's the number 27 car, so that's the BVR Motorsport car of Pierluigi Verresoni, one of the rookies in the championship that's deposited the car into the gravel trap, and that looks as though that is at turn number 3, where we sort of come wide out of turn number 3. You can see the tyre bale that's on the inside, on the apex of the corner of the right-hand corner. That means that the drivers can't try and cut that corner. It just keeps them on the curb line, and he's clearly had an issue there. No damage, obviously, to the car that I can see from our perspective, but it looks as though that car has just run wide then subsequently and has dropped itself into the gravel trap, and we gather that the race control is recommending that the driver does not bring gravel back onto the track for obvious reasons. With 3 minutes of the qualifying session to go, they might just sort of haul the car out of the way, and then it prevents further delay whilst we then have to sweep the gravel up. The one good thing is that with 3 minutes to go, we're going to have a wonderful final flying lap in reality. The cars at the front of the queue might just squeeze 2 flying laps in, but those at the back of the queue, without question, are only going to get 1 flying lap in, and that will dictate as to which of the 12 will go through to the Superpole session. So recovery taking place here of the number 27 car from the gravel trap. Pierluigi Verasoni, the rookie driver, at the wheel of the BVR Motorsport Ford Mustang, which popped itself into the gravel trap at turn number 3. And, well, it's going to be pretty crazy, one would imagine, the restart of this one. 27 cars, providing we get Arianna Casoli out there, of course. That could bring it to 28 on a 2.5-kilometre circuit with 3 minutes to go, including an out lap, which means that some of the cars will get in 1 flying lap, others will get 2 flying laps, but we are in, I'm sure, for a grandstand finish for this first element of qualifying, and see as to which of the top 12 we get through. Well, Pierluigi Verasoni has brought out this red flag, was in 18th position, but behind him in 19th was the number 56 Cal Racing Chevrolet of Mattia Dresa. And, well, for Mattia Dresa, he is one of the drivers that was hoping he might have a solid weekend here at Franciacorta, having had a mixed, again, one of those drivers with a mixed weekend, really. 8th in the first race at Valencia, 26th in the second race at Valencia. And, well, he was a title contender in 2017, where he had, again, mixed fortunes generally throughout the course of the season, but come the end of the season, which is the important thing, Mattia Dresa finished 7th overall in the championship standing. He's only 144 points off the race leader. You think there's 40 for a win this year. It goes to show there's not that many. And he was the 3rd rookie as well. He led laps at Hockenheim, so he's a quick driver, but at the moment, with very little time in which to do it, he is not going to see himself through to Superpole unless he gains a fair chunk of time, because he's on a 1 minute 14.7. He's got to gain almost just over 3/4 of a second to get himself into the correct position for Superpole. So there is the number 27 car of Pierluigi Verasoni, who is heading into the pit lane. The top 12 cars covered by just 0.8 of a second so far in this qualifying session. So we said that Elite 2 was unpredictable. It is proving to be exactly that here at Circuito de Franciacorta, and we should, hopefully, now that the car of Pierluigi Verasoni has got back into the pit lane, we should be good to go green. And there's actually only half a second between the cars in 2nd quickest and 12th quickest if you look through the time. So there you go, 2nd quickest Gilles Linster, you can see at the bottom left corner of your screens, 1 minute 13.448, and down in 12th, 1 minute 13.938 is the next of the times, which is going to be posted by Felipe Ravello. So that is just half a second separating the cars from 2nd through to 12th, which around a 2.5-kilometre circuit, that's the difference between getting through to Superpole and not getting through. So cars lined up in the pit lane. So beautiful conditions here in the northern part of Italy. That's 70 to 75 kilometres east of Milan, and in this fairly new circuit in reality. It's not been around for long. It first started being built in 2005. The configuration has changed as they've extended the configuration, but the configuration we're using this weekend, first time it's been used with those subtle changes to turn 5 and turn 6, but this longer configuration started in 2008, so it's only about 10 years of age, the circuit, and built in an old quarry. As we go green now, so we get the session back underway once more, and well, with the cars having to head out onto circuit. We've gone green, but the cars are still sitting in the pit lane at the moment. There we go, right, they're heading out now. It just took a while. The flag was given, so maybe it was the car at the front of the queue that held things up there. So Denny Zardo in the number 2 car was one of the first out of pit lane. The number 50 Hendricks Motorsport car of Dietrich Siersens, a rookie in the championship for this year, also eligible for the Legend Trophy, was also towards the front of the queue. And we'll the radio, we can hear the spotters absolutely screaming to their drivers to crack on, get on with it, find some space and get the quick lap in. As we say, when you've only got half a second from 2nd through to 12th place, and of course it is 12th that is the last of those that would go through. So Felipe Ravello, the number 11 PK Car Sport car that he shares with Dennis Longines, is the man who's on the bubble at the moment. And behind him is Alex Sedgwick, the British driver, in only his 2nd weekend of racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. So might we see Alex Sedgwick get through to Superpole, or is he going to miss out? And Tom Bonan's going well, isn't he? The former world cycling champion with the number 91 Brax car. So the rookie in his Chevrolet is only 14th quickest and might stand a chance also of getting through to Superpole, but he will need to find about half a second from his best time so far. So we get things back underway yet again, and up towards the braking area for turn number 1. Get the first few cars onto, let's remember, this flying lap. The checkered flag is now only a matter of 1 minute and 10 seconds away. There goes number 29, which is Julian Shale, who was on the quick lap before the red flags came out, if you recall. He's found clear tarmac again, and let's see what he can do now, Julian Shale. Nice and neat and tidy through turn number 3, up towards turn number 4, and then as he accelerates his way down towards this new section of the circuit, turn 5, turn 6. Neat and tidy. Jules Linster is going through and is heading onto a flying lap. There might not be all of the cars that get over the start-finish line. Having come out of the pit lane, they're a little bit slow coming out, so some of them are going to miss a flying lap, I do fear, and that is going to annoy them. And one of them that's going to miss a flying lap is Guillaume Dumoulin, by the look of things, the number 24 car, sitting in the pit lane there, and he is currently top of the times, but reasonably comfortably top of the times. Other cars will need to find almost a second if they want to dispose him outside of the top 12, so I don't think Guillaume Dumoulin is going to do anything other than save the tyres. Jules Linster looking very neat and tidy. The number 44 Cal Racing car in the hands of the Luxembourger, and Guillaume Dumoulin is probably sitting there getting ready for the Superpole, which will be coming up in a few moments. But for Jules Linster, he is currently 2nd quickest, 0.368 of a second slower than the fastest time we've seen in his qualifying session from Guillaume Dumoulin. And as he turns his way now through turn number 9 up towards turn number 10, the checkered flag goes out, so it will be the last lap for Jules Linster through turn number 10. The lap looks neat and tidy at this stage, looks nice and clean. He's been chased around the circuit by the number 46 car of Justin Kuntz. Guillaume de Flandre moves up to 2nd quickest on a very quick lap indeed. So the number 77 car in the hands of Guillaume de Flandre, the Memphis Racing car, moves up to 2nd quickest. What's the time going to look like for Jules Linster? Is he going to be able to re-inherit 2nd? Matters not for the grid, of course, because Superpole will come up. And as it was a slower lap after all of that as well for Jules Linster, so didn't quite get it nailed. Justin Kuntz could not improve either at the wheel of the number 46 car, so his Ford Mustang takes the checkered flag and remains 9th quickest. And, well, Denny Zardo, who was doing really well at the first part of qualifying and was one that's had the pace in free practice, just hasn't been able to sort it out come qualifying, because Denny Zardo is going to finish well and truly out of the order. And he is out. Nicholas Visitano is also out. So Denny Zardo, is he in? Yes, he is. 8th quickest, right. That's because Nicholas Visitano, I think, might have had... Well, the times are bumping around, aren't they? So Nicholas Visitano is in. He was out. So I think some cars on the final flying lap have had their lap times disallowed. They came over the start-finish line. The time was recorded. The officials have then received notification the car ran wide, and they've been bumped back down again. So it looks as though through to Superpole, provided we don't get any more changes, it is Guillaume Dumoulin who is going to be through to Superpole and is the fastest with a 1 minute 13.080. That is the PK Car Sport Chevrolet SS that he shares with Anthony Kumpen. 2nd quickest, it is number 77, which is Guillaume de Flandre at the wheel of the Memphis Racing Chevrolet. 3rd quickest is number 44, which is Gilles Linster with his Chevrolet. And 4th quickest is another Chevy as well. It's the number 29 car of Julian Shale. 5th quickest is 73. That's the Knauf Racing Ford Mustang. That's the first Ford shaped car through to Superpole, which is Paul Gio. Sixth quickest is double race winner from Valencia, which is Wilfried Busena with another Ford. And the first Toyota we've got through to Superpole is number 3, which is Ulysses Del So. Denny Zardo is through as well, the former Italian GT champion and twice Italian hill climb champion. He was a European hill climb champion as well, was Denny Zardo. At the wheel of number 2 car, his Toyota Camry is through. 9th, number 32, Florian Venturi is through. He's the first rookie also through to Superpole. 10th is number 47, which is Justin Kuntz. Both Florian Venturi and Justin Kuntz both driving the Ford Mustangs once more. 11th is number 11, which is the PK Car Sport Chevrolet of Felipe Ravello. And the car that is 12th, the last of those through, is the man who had such a solid weekend at Valencia. And at least he's through to Superpole and see what he can do from there with less cars on the circuit. It's number 8, the Italian driver Nicholas Risitano at the wheel of the Racers Ford Mustang. So those are the cars that are through. The first lady in the field for the Ladies' Cup will start 23rd, which is Carmen Boich-Gil, because there was no lap posted, sadly, for Arianna Casoli. So not entirely sure what the problem was with her car, but we didn't see her out there at all. So Arianna has left herself a little bit of work to do. We saw a win apiece for those, did we not, in Valencia? It was a win for Arianna in one race, a win for Carmen Boich-Gil in her local race, and they are tied in points as well. So that is tied in points for what is the Ladies' Cup, as it's known, with a win apiece in Valencia. So we're about to get this 5-minute Superpole session underway here. Don't forget that it's not just qualifying and Superpole that you can see here live. You will be able to catch it all as well, because we will be back with the Elite 1 race, round 3, at 1:20 this afternoon Central European time. And if you're watching in America, then it's 7:20 a.m. Eastern time. Also, the Elite 2 race taking part today, that is going to be 4:50 p.m. Central European time and 10:50 a.m. Eastern time if you're watching in the US. It will all, of course, be available to you on either fanschoice.tv, on our Facebook page, on YouTube as well, the Euro NASCAR YouTube page, and also motorsport.tv as well. All of those available to you. So the cars beginning to queue up, the 12 cars that are through to Superpole already and sitting there, and we'll see as to who is going to line up on pole position for the first of our Elite 1 races of the weekend. Well, in Elite 2 last year, pole position went the way of Ulysses Del So in pole position for last year, and in the second of the 2 races it was Denny Zardo who was on pole position. So with Ulysses Del So out in this session at the wheel of the number 3 Toyota Camry, let's see whether the RDV competition Toyota Camry at the wheel of the Frenchman can do what he did last year and pop it on pole position for the first race of the weekend. Say Denny Zardo is also in this session. He was on pole position for the second of the 2 races last season. And let's just see as to whether the likes of Guillaume Dumoulin, who's had the pace and set the fastest time in the first part of qualifying, can now find a little bit more in this Superpole session. So 5-minute session already. There's just 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go, would you believe? It's amazing how quickly it goes, and of course they're only on the outlap at this stage. So Guillaume Dumoulin at the wheel of his Chevrolet SS for PK Car Sport, the car that he shares with Anthony Kumpen, will be hoping for good things. They had mixed fortunes again at Valencia, so needs a solid weekend. The 4th in the first race was not bad, but 25th was not what he wanted in race number 2 at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. Well, we're now at Circuito di Franciacorta, and as he heads on to his flying lap, let's see whether there's a bit more time to find. Nice and neat and tidy. Didn't use all of the circuit though in towards turn number 1 there. Takes the apex beautifully well. Again, you can see the car bouncing around on the suspension as he heads round through turn number 2, through turn 3 where we saw the car into the gravel of Pierluigi Verrettoni. And again, just using all of the curves but no more. Nice and neat and tidy as he bounces over the curves at turn number 4. Very fast section, the fast left-hand flick, the new bit that's been put in over the course of just the last matter of a few weeks. A little bit of a correction there, midway through 6 towards turn number 7. You can see a little bit of steering input being put in, just as he managed to, I think, catch what was a very small slide in the car, but it looks neat and tidy so far for Guillaume Dumoulin. And again, midway through turn 10, you can see the car sliding around. The BF Goodrich tyres is a very good tyre, but Guillaume Dumoulin is asking a lot of them in this stage, and he needs to, because he knows how tight it is in Elite 2. Now up the straight that brings him up towards the braking area 4. turn number 11 onto the brakes, nice and neat and tidy. The circuit comes uphill towards turn number 11, then starts to drop away on the exit as you flick left through turn number 12. And now as he heads over the start-finish line, the first flying lap put in by Guillaume Dumouriez is a 1 minute 13.630. Julian Shale pops in a 1 minute 14.047. Paul Guillaume goes third quickest with a 1 minute 14.299. And Felipe Ravello at this stage has stopped out. No, he's on a quick lap. Yeah, Felipe Ravello goes through, goes to the top of the times. Felipe Ravello with a time of 1 minute 13.473. So that puts the Brazilian driver right to the top of the times, Felipe Ravello. And again, another one of those drivers that suffered mixed fortunes. So many of them did, really, at Valencia. 24th only was he in the first race. And well, in the second race, he managed to finish in 8th position in the end. And that's a driver that was third in the championship last year, the Brazilian. So he really needs to get his championship charge back where it needs to be. There goes number 29, Julian Shale. He is looking as though he's been neat and tidy through the first sector. In fact, very neat and tidy through the first sector is Julian Shale. Felipe Ravello, though, is pressing on even more, as is Gilles Linster. So this is going to be a tight one. So here comes Guillaume Dumouriez, third quickest currently. There goes number 11, which is Felipe Ravello. He's on a very quick lap indeed, the Brazilian driver. So out of turn number 10 and up towards turn number 11. Guillaume Dumouriez topping the times. Paul Guillaume goes third quickest, but Felipe Ravello is on a quick one here and may well go back up onto pole position. And this could not also be his final flying lap, because of time to start another flying lap as well. Here comes Felipe Ravello over the start-finish line. It goes back to the top of the times. Felipe Ravello with a 1 minute 13.2 exactly. That is a 1/10.5 of a second quicker than Guillaume Dumouriez, who's got one more roll of the dice to try and see as to whether he can improve. And well, Guillaume Dumouriez is on a very quick lap this time. It looks as though he is again looking to try and reassert himself back onto pole position. He's gained a 0.2 of a second just in the first sector over that number 11 car there in the hands of Felipe Ravello, who at the moment is quickest and heading towards pole position. But look at other cars that are out there and on quick laps. Well, Guillaume Dumouriez is on a quick lap. Felipe Ravello has not eased his pace on this lap either, but he might catch Gilles Linster if Gilles Linster eases off. We've also got Julian Shale, number 29, is on a quick lap. We said it was going to be unpredictable, and whilst the checkered flag is only a matter of 10 seconds away now, we've got 4 or 5 cars, all of which could take pole position. Guillaume Dumouriez is surely going to go back to the top of the times very shortly. There goes Paul Guillaume. He is not going to improve. His sector time suggesting he's not going to improve. But Guillaume Dumouriez, unseen by the cameras, has gone back to the top of the times. Can Felipe Ravello take it away? He's had a good first sector. The second sector hasn't been bad for the number 11 car as the checkered flag heads out. There goes Gilles Linster. And at the top of your screens, just as we left Gilles Linster, Felipe Ravello comes over the start-finish line and does do it. Felipe Ravello takes pole position away by just 95 thousandths of a second from that car there, which is Guillaume Dumouriez, who I don't think got over the start. Or did he get over the start-finish line before the checkered flag? Because Guillaume Dumouriez is still pushing on by the look of things. He is very quick through the first third of the lap. The circuit broken down into 3 sectors. Now, did he get through and over the start-finish line before the checkered flag? If he did, that is a very good thing for the Belgian driver, because he is probably the only driver out there that can still try and pop a quick lap in, and the first sector time would suggest he is not easing off at all. Here he comes. He hasn't taken the checkered flag. He is 0.2 of a second quicker in the first sector of it. He's just a few thousandths of a second slower in the second sector, and this is going to be good enough for pole position. He surely got over the start-finish line before the checkered flag. We've got one car facing the wrong way over the start-finish line, and Guillaume Dumouriez, does he go to the top of the times? He misses out by 21 thousandths of a second, taking pole position away from Felipe Ravello. The car that's facing the wrong way is the number 8 Racers Motorsport car of Nicolas Risitano, who has gone, but that is the first ever pole position for Felipe Ravello. He will be hugely pleased with that, and after the mixed fortunes at Valencia, say 24th in the first race, 8th in the second race, he will be a very happy Brazilian indeed. So Felipe Ravello claims pole position for the Elite 2 division with a 1 minute 12.982. Second quickest was number 24, Guillaume Dumouriez, with his Chevrolet with a 1 minute 13.003. Gilles Linster, number 44, was third quickest, so it's a Chevy 123 at this stage. The Cal Motorsport Chevrolet posting a time of a 1 minute 13.449, and Paul Guillaume at the wheel of the number 73 Knauf car makes it 4 different nationalities of drivers inside the top 4 with his Ford Mustang with a 1 minute 13.465. Fifth quickest is 32, which is Florian Venturi, the Ford, with a 1 minute 13.535. Sixth quickest is number 37, Wilfried Busenna, with his Ford, 1 minute 13.627. Seventh quickest is number 2, which is Denis Zardo with the Toyota Camry, a 1 minute 13.661. Eighth quickest is 11, that's Guillaume de Flandre with the Chevrolet, a 1 minute 13.698. Ninth quickest for 29, Julian Shale with the Chevy with a 1 minute 13.785. 10th quickest 46, Justin Kuntz with his Ford with a 1 minute 13.903. 11th quickest number 8, Nicola Risitano with the Ford, a 1 minute 13.938. And Ulysses Delso, we didn't see do a lap. He got out, but I don't think he made it over the start finish line before the checkered flag came out on his final flying lap after the red flag. So he will line up the number 3 Toyota Camry, 12th quickest with no time at all. So very, very unpredictable. 11 drivers within 1 second of each other, and the points leader starts in 6th position, Wilfried Busenna. So there's plenty to look forward to later on, of course, here in the northern part of Italy, with our 2 races that will be coming up for both the Elite 1 division and the Elite 2 division. So, well, that's all it for the moment. Don't forget the Elite 1 race will take place at 1:20 p.m. Central European time. If you're watching in America, then it's 7:20 a.m. Eastern time. And the Elite 2 race will also be shown live. The Elite 2 race coming up at 4:50 Central European time and 10:50 Eastern European time. Well, that's it for the moment from Circuit Franciacorta, and we can just look forward to some more NASCAR Whelen Euro Series action later on this afternoon.
At the beginning we had an issue with sound on the live streaming, so we had to reboot, and then it was okay. So we lost. Okay, fast choice is okay, totally okay. On Facebook we lost 2-3 minutes. We leave everything as it is. Perfect. This time they did what I told them to do. Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, no, that was okay. There's a few bits I can improve on again, but it's...
Well, we work on it,